Hey, what's up? My name is Adam Savage and welcome to my channel and a brand new series called Plot Review. It does exactly what it says on the thumbnail. You see, video games are often reviewed based on their playability, on their design. I'm stripping it right back. I'm focusing on one thing and one thing only. The narrative, the storyline of a video game. Is it even feasible? Is it well crafted or belong in the rubbish bin? We're going to find out. I'm going to give you my thoughts and my feelings. Now, this series has actually been inspired recently. I've been watching a lot of creators online doing different reviews, particularly movies. Chris Stuckman, big shout out to you, buddy. Like, love your channel. I think we have the same interests and the same feelings about just about every film you've ever seen. It's inspired me to do something like this. So, to Chris, to other creators who do movie reviews, thank you guys for the inspiration. Big props to you guys. Today is all about Marvel Avengers. You're probably looking at me thinking, Adam, what gives you the right? What makes you the specialist expert on Marvel in general and the Avengers? Well, there is this. That's right. I'm in the MCU. I am the MCU. I was in Captain America. That's a story for a different video. But ultimately, I am actually part of this universe. Does it give me any kind of more understanding of it? Not really. Probably the same as you. But I've got a lot that I want to say about this game, about the story, and everything surrounding it as well. Marvel Avengers was made by Crystal Dynamics. Now, that name may sound familiar to you. It's only because they recently rebooted the entire Tomb Raider series. A series that when I was growing up meant absolutely everything to me. I love Tomb Raider. As a huge self-confessed Indiana Jones fan, I'm all about adventure games. Tomb Raider kind of did the business for me when I was growing up on the PS1. I remember it like it was yesterday. The thrill I got from being Lara Croft, donning those very skimpy shorts, but dual revolvers, kicking ass, Tomb style. It was amazing. I think we can all admit, though, it did totally lose its way. I mean, there was one, I think Tomb Raider Underworld was the one that I remember being, I think the PS2, even maybe 3, where you had to find, of all things, Mjolnir, Thor's hammer. And it just became this kind of whimsical, supernatural, superpower thing. It was akin to Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. And as we all know, that was a total dumpster fire. So it just lost its way. Crystal Dynamics, they brought it back. They brought it back, and I love what they did with the character, with Lara Croft. They really reined it back into where it all began for Lara Croft. Here's a hero who lost everything. She lost her dad. She has almost unlimited resources. She wants to connect with her dad in some way, so she goes about finding treasure and doing what he did best, trying to find out a bit about his whereabouts as well at the same time. But I know what you're thinking right now. Tomb Raider 1 had Lara going head-to-head against the T-Rex, okay? Jurassic Park vibes. Look, if the Loch Ness Monster potentially exists out there somewhere in Scotland, then T-Rexes totally could somewhere as well, okay? That's all I'm going to say about that. Yeah, it's a bit mad. What they did with Lara Croft in this reboot is they humanized her. They made her someone that you could imagine feeling like that. I remember when she kills the first person on her, when she's shipwrecked on this island, she kills someone and it hits her emotionally. It gets that, it's a big deal. It's a massive deal when you kill someone. I imagine. I have no experience. It's a thing that, it would affect all of us. And the fact that you had this humanized character that you could totally connect with, I was so engaged back into the series again. We had to grassroots as well, where it all began. Tomb raiding. That's what we're there for. Booby traps, getting past things. I loved it. So when I heard they were making an Avengers game, you can imagine, I lost my nut. I got so excited about this. There's an opportunity here to see Crystal Dynamics deliver a superhero story, one that we love so much. This is something that had, the MCU has 23 movies in it. Began back in 2008 with Iron Man. All these years of tons of quality Avengers superhero content, we're loving it. The MCU has got absolutely nothing to do with Marvel Avengers. I'm putting it out there right now. It is not what you are hoping for if you're a fanboy or girl who's loved the last 12 years worth of movies. It's a completely separate story arc. It's very comic book focused. All the actors that you loved portraying your favorite characters, from Chris Hemsworth to Robert Downey Jr. to Scarlett Johansson to Mark Ruffalo and Jeremy Renner and Chris Evans, they're all not in this game. And that's a big deal that I'm going to talk about later on in this video. But first things first, let's talk about the narrative. The story. Oh boy. The story begins on what is known as A-Day, Avengers Day. The Avengers, you got Black Widow, Hulk, Thor, Captain America, Iron Man, they're all at this huge event, which is kind of like an expo. It's kind of like a gaming expo, like a Comic-Con, but they're actual superheroes there to celebrate their latest San Francisco HQ and their new helicarrier, aptly titled the Chimera, which if you know about any kind of Greek mythology, is a three-headed beast. It's not a good thing. It's, I think, the toxin in Mission Impossible 2 that's in a test tube. I think it was a monster in my pocket once that I had. It's not a good name for something. I don't know why it was called that, but that's what it's called, the Chimera, and they're all there to celebrate it. And this is when we meet our protagonist, our hero, Kamala Khan. She is just a fangirl. She's there to meet the Avengers. She's there to embrace the kind of the culture around superheroes of tons and tons of like-minded people who are there just to get a glimpse of their favorite superheroes. She somehow, like a miracle, meets every single Avenger in the space of the first 5 minutes of being there. It's mental. Like, that would never happen in real life. Like, it wouldn't happen. Just walking around, she's in like a shop, for instance, looking at comics, and Captain America goes, "Oh, hey. Yeah, it's me." You're like, what? Why? There's a bit where she goes on a balcony to get a good spot to take some photos and check out like the big reveal on the main stage. Iron Man just happens to land there and goes, "Oh, hey. Yeah, I'm starting my whole kind of entrance from here. I just thought hey, what's up?" She could not be in more convenient positions. It's the world's greatest coincidence. It's also total baloney. It doesn't make any sense, but you just go with it and think, hey, it's a video game. Okay, for now, it's the beginning. I'll let this one slide. So the helicarrier, the Chimera, is powered by something called the Terrigen Crystal. And if you're familiar with the comic books, the Terrigen Crystal is home to something called Terrigen Mist. Now, this mist has the ability to turn humans into inhumans. And I don't mean inside out. I mean they get superpowers. Ultimately, you come into contact with the mist. This is in the books. You go into a cocoon. When you come out, you've got some kind of random superpower. This turns humans into superheroes. That is massive. And that is actually the thing that's powering this brand new helicarrier. What could possibly go wrong? This guy called the Taskmaster turns up. He is a Punisher-looking guy with like a scully face mask. It's kind of badass. He turns up to take out a terrorist attack happening right there on the Golden Gate Bridge by the celebrations, by A-Day, by the helicarrier. This is when things go really Pete Tong. We then get this awesome introductory scene, which if you played the beta, you're at any of the, I guess, gaming events. Oh, gaming events. They'll come back one day. One day. But not yet. Not yet. This was actually available, this mission, to play, and you get a chance at the very beginning of the game to play with every single superhero in the Avengers, get a feel for them, in this epic kind of like 20 minutes of gameplay, which just goes from one to the other. It's fantastic. This is when I'm going to stop and say, spoiler alert. If you don't want to know what happens in this game, then turn off now. Captain America then presumably dies. Yeah, gone. Cap is gone. Very early on. Just sinks with the helicarrier, goes into the San Francisco Bay. The Chimera is at the bottom of it, and it's all gone completely pear-shaped. The Chimera goes down, it crashes into San Francisco Bay, and this is when the Terrigen Mist, exploding out from the crystal that goes down with the ship, infects all the humans in the area, and thus the Avengers are blamed for this total catastrophe. It's 5 years later. Superheroes are completely outlawed. Doesn't matter if you're an Avenger, you're a regular superhero. That's it. You ain't welcome, baby. You ain't coming in tonight. Go home, sleep it off. Cue a science-based organization called AIM stepping in, led by a guy called George Tarleton, who says to the world, "I vow to you that I will find a cure for this, and I will stop you from having powers, and you can re-enter society." Good on you, George. You smartass. This is when we catch back up with our hero, Kamala Khan. Now, if you're not familiar with Kamala Khan and Miss Marvel as a character, she's actually kind of awesome. I really like Kamala as a character. Now, 2013, I think she was introduced into the Marvel stratosphere in the comic books, and she was the first Muslim female protagonist in the Marvel comics. So she is a very special character in many ways, particularly from a diversity standpoint. But in the game, she's actually a really cool person to play as because she's got these badass powers. She's basically Mr. Fantastic with like the bendiness and the kind of like the crazy kind of limbs and such that go all over the shop. But she's also got a really strong-minded head on her shoulders. She asks good questions, and she was fun. She's the fun, cool character that I thought it's kind of cool high-fiving people off bridges and, you know, using your arms as like an Indiana Jones kind of like whip to go over chasms. It's cool. She's cool. She's kind of got all the fun parts. I really like it. And she even has like Ant-Man's ability that she can turn super, super big and just kick ass. She's awesome. Kamala Khan is contacted by someone that we don't know. The alias is Tiny Dancer. Clearly someone like Crystal is a massive Elton John fan. But that happens. She gets sent some video footage, and in this footage, it shows that Tarleton, the guy heading up AIM, closes Captain America in, shuts him in on the ship, which is destroyed, and the Terrigen crystal exploding, the helicarrier going down. So immediately we think AIM, they're the bad guys. They're the ones. It was George all along, the crafty bugger. It was him that did this thing. AIM are responsible. We hate those guys. We need to reform the Avengers. This is then when we're introduced to Monica Rappuccini. Monica works for George Tarleton. She works for AIM. She's one of the top bioengineer scientist people. You know, she just does maths great and she makes things. And she wants Kamala to help understand her powers better. So brings her in, / kidnaps her in a car. Just kidnaps her. But Kamala's not biting, man. She ain't believing any of this. She couldn't trust AIM as far as she could throw them. And she can throw them far. Like those arms that she's got, like they're proper stretch arms for her. They're huge. You could chuck them miles. Kamala escapes, heads to the wreckage of the Chimera, and who does she find living in a human bin? It's Bruce Banner, just there living in the floor, just living in just rubbish. He's the Hulk, and he's reduced himself to a dump. I mean, he says it's for anonymity, but in reality, you could get a penthouse suite with all the money you must have earned from all those kind of signatures and those kind of those autographs at Comic-Con, buddy. I mean, come on. This is ridiculous. The hell are you doing down there? Although skeptical, Kamala shows Bruce the footage. He's like, oh yeah, you're onto something here. Let's go to get Jarvis back. Let's reactivate Jarvis and see what the fuss is really all about. They head to go and get Jarvis. They bump into an AIM operative, otherwise known as Abomination. I mean, talk about crowbarring and supervillains. But he's there. Hulk defeats him. They get Jarvis back online. Hooray! At this point, they're all in agreement. We need to get the Avengers back together, man. We need to reunite. We need to stop this, because all this nonsense over the last 5 years, that we thought it was our responsibility and our fault this happened, it wasn't. It was the people that are trying to save others now. Banner and Kamala head out to see Tony Stark at one of his family estates. They say, here's this footage, mate. You gotta join us. I mean, it has to be done. He's like, yeah, fine. I'm kind of just sat here twiddling my thumbs anyway, fixing like a calculator. Yeah, fine. I'll come as well. I'll help you guys out. Banner and Kamala then need to find some key parts to get the helicarrier and the Chimera back online. And that's when they stumble into Hank Pym. Dr. Hank Pym, otherwise known as Ant-Man. What the hell happened to him? I mean, look at the guy. He looks ridiculous. What's this red jacket he's wearing? He looks like he's from some kind of dancing group. I just don't like anything about him. He just looks so boring. Like, Paul Rudd was awesome. Paul Rudd was great. This guy just looks so stupid. I actually hated this character. I looked and went, oh, God, no. No. Hank Pym says, hey, welcome to my base, otherwise known as the Resistance. This is us. This is what it's all about. Right here. We're the ones who are fighting the good fight. At the Anthill. This is what it's called. I just can't get past this stupid freaking... Kamala, being awesome, just heads over to an AIM prison to kick ass and try and free some of her inhuman friends, colleagues, fellow inhuman people. And while she's there, she happens upon Monica Rappuccini, Black Widow, who actually is one of my favourite heroes to play with this entire game. I think she's awesome. She's basically Spider-Man from the Amazing Spider-Man game. She comes along and she kicks ass, takes Monica Rappuccini down, and that's when she reveals to Kamala that her character, Black Widow, is Tiny Dancer. She's the one who's been feeding her Resistance information. She's the one who kind of kickstarted this whole thing with that video footage. We love you, Black Widow. You go, girl. Yeah, she's awesome. I like her a lot. She's cool. And Monica comes back to the base and Banner tries hard. The Hulk tries hard to break her down. She gives nothing away. Absolutely nothing. But in this point as well, we learn that Tarleton, that's right, the mad scientist dude, is actually not really focusing on the cure anymore. He's focusing on adaptoids. These are robots who are instilled with the inhuman superpowers. Oh my god, it's the story arc from X-Men Days of Future Past. They've literally carbon copied the Days of Future Past story by taking on superhero powers and weaponizing them by giving them to robots. It's ridiculous. We've seen this story already. I don't know why this is the same story. It's mental. It really annoys me. You've got the entire world, comic book, stratosphere, universe, galaxy, you name it, Milky Way of comic books that you could choose any story from, and you've chosen a story that we all know already. Where's the originality, man? Where's the originality? Now, this is the part in the game where this is the part of the game which was just crazy. So, AIM forces try and free Rappuccini, which they do. But who happens to just be having a stroll close by and goes, hey, that's interesting. Look at Thor. It's Thor. Thor just shows up. It's almost like the scriptwriters have gone, look, guys, we're making the Avengers reassemble in this game. We got these wicked ways in which they all come back together again. But we've kind of forgotten about Thor, the Asgardian, like, kind of god of thunder. What do we do? Like, stroll? Bingo. We then find out that Jarvis has uncovered some additional footage which doesn't show that Captain America was locked in by Tarleton. It actually shows that Captain America wanted to be locked in. And it was on him in the first place. And again they go, we're so fickle. Let's just give this thing up. This is stupid. We're going our separate ways again. The third act's the same as the first act. We're doing the same thing again. It's just reassemble. It's like a jigsaw that you can't possibly finish. Kamala then Sherlock Holmes' the whole thing and says, hey, wait, this lab isn't on Earth. It's on a satellite called the Ambrosia. And we just go with it at this point. We just go, yeah, cool. It's in space. Sweet. Tony Stark then adaptoids his own suit and makes it space travel able. First thing I would do is make it space travel able. There's a way better way of saying that. He can use his suit in space. Why wouldn't you do that first? You had 5 years sitting there, just eating sandwiches, twiddling your thumbs, playing games in your pants. Dude, like, come on, man. Seriously? Space, dude. Space. Stark finds out that actually what they've been working on is a serum from one particular blood source to keep Tarleton from fully turning MODOK on us. We're going to get to more MODOK later. But this formula is basically helping him regenerate, and that's what we've been using the entire time in this story. This is the MacGuffin, the real heart of what it's all about. It turns out the blood belongs to Captain America. He's not dead. He's in stasis and has been for 5 years. And the whole time, he wasn't dead. He was just on a satellite in space. How they got him there, how they commissioned a rocket to get... I don't know. I mean, how is any of this possible? The real reason Captain America shut the reactor down is because there was something below the water in San Francisco Bay that, had the thing connected with the crystal, would have caused World War III, which pretty much has happened anyway. But it would have been terrible. And he purposely took it down for the greater good. That's Cap, baby. That's what Cap does, every time. George Tarleton, aka MODOK, didn't know that Rappuccini was doing these crazy experiments and that Captain America was the source of him staying alive. So what does he do? His best scientist just kills her. Just kills her. Just gives her a lethal dose and just kills her. Like, she knew everything. She did everything. Why would you just offer? Why not go, look, I'm annoyed, but you are keeping me alive, so we're all gravy. We're fine. No. Off with her head. It makes no sense. It's just like, it's his own death wish. It's mad. He is mad. Like, the whole thing is just mad. Turns out the thing at the bottom of the San Francisco Bay is in fact a Kree sentry. If you know your Captain Marvel, you know the Kree sentries are these powerful humanoid robot things. MODOK takes control of this thing, and then we have a finale where Kamala basically kicks his ass, turns super, super giant size, and just rinses MODOK. The job is done, everyone's saved, and it's all because, really, of Kamala Khan. Her dad's happy. She can join the Avengers now. She's proved her point that she's allowed to do this. There's a cultural thing there as well about like him saying, no, you're not doing that. It's stupid. It's a stupid thing to do. And he's like, you've saved the universe and the planet. Go on then. You can be an Avenger. Go on. That is the story. That is what happens. And I've got a bunch of stuff to say. Firstly, it's just a story I just don't think we needed. I don't think that this had any need to be out there at all. We've had the last 23 years, as I mentioned, of Marvel stories, of this giant, incredible series of stories that all finished and culminated in Endgame, which was absolutely banging. I think Infinity War, I would argue, is probably better, but the two of them together were just unbelievable. Why now do we need this story? Another thing which I think is going to be something that every single person who's played this game is going to find a real bitter pill to swallow is that you're not the people that you associate with the Avengers. You're these alternate comic book versions which are not Robert Downey Jr. and Scarlett Johansson and Chris Evans and Mark Ruffalo and whatever. They're not those people. And I know obviously it would have cost so much money in rights to copyright those characters, but yes, Crystal Dynamics are trying to separate this Avengers from that Avengers completely. But that is impossible to do at this point. 15 years of movies, man. Like, you can't just go, oh, yes, yeah, that's just what it is. Harrison Ford is always going to be Indiana Jones. Indiana Jones is Indiana Jones. It's really hard now to disassociate people from the characters. Yes, Spider-Man's managed to do it countless times. I mean, I say managed to, just it's happened and we've all gone, yeah, I like that one, or no, I don't like that one. But it just doesn't feel like the people that I want to be playing as. They all look weird. Dr. Banner has got poofy hair and stupid glasses that cost like £4 down a market. Why is he living in an underground bin? I don't understand that. Like, they all look scruffy. They don't play as charismatic. The Hulk is great for about an hour. Then you go, right, he's the Hulk. I love playing with Black Widow. I love playing with Kamala Khan. They were really fun characters. It's just because they had so much to them. But geez, man. To give the story as well some exposition, they released a series, 5 comic books in this series, called The Road to A-Day. I didn't know this existed. How are we supposed to find... I mean, this is the thing that started... I think the first issue was Iron Man back in December 2019, which was a kind of a precursor to this game. I'm in this world of video games and geek culture, whatever you want to call it. I don't know about this. How do I not know about this? If I'm a consumer who is your target market, how do I not know about these comics? And I don't think it's because I haven't been paying attention. I just didn't know they existed. And if you want some backstory, you've got to find a better way to give it to me. I don't read the comic books regularly, so how am I going to find out any if you're just focusing on the comic book readers, as opposed to the gamers who are going to play this, or just Marvel fans in general, that makes no sense. I think it's completely backwards. It's very, very, very silly. The Spider-Man thing as well. I mean, obviously, Spider-Man's been announced as a PS4 exclusive or PS5 exclusive that's coming to Marvel Avengers down the line. I don't know why. I don't know why that's a thing. It's just been shown that there's going to be a brand new Spider-Man game called Miles Morales coming out later this year. The Amazing Spider-Man that came out a few years ago, courtesy of Insomniac Games, was amazing. It was exactly that. Why are we getting Spider-Man in this iteration where we had a great Spider-Man game? We don't need him again. Unless because there's some kind of deal in place where you can just crowbar him in and go, hey, we've got him already, so let's just chuck him in. Again, I don't feel it's necessary at all for this story. There's plenty of other superheroes that you could use. Black Panther as well. Sadly, incredibly sadly, tragically, we lost Chadwick Boseman recently. The Black Panther, which was, it happened the week before the game came out. It happened, and now they're saying that there was this kind of hint online they were going to announce that Black Panther's coming to the platform soon to play as, and suddenly, now we're not going to announce it, we're not going to do it. But it's been announced now. You've leaked it, and then you've it just feels a mess, a total mess. The timing for me is the biggest cardinal symbol of all this. I don't know why this game, which I think got pushed back to September 2020, it came out the week after the Fortnite chapter update featuring Marvel's heroes. Are you mad? Fortnite is one of the biggest battle royale / games in the world today. It's huge. An entire chapter is dedicated to Marvel, and you can be Thor and Wolverine and She-Hulk. It's awesome. It's really great. It's cool. But I had to play the beta of the Avengers to get special items that I can use in Fortnite. Why are we skewing towards Fortnite? Like, what are we doing this second week? Like, everyone's getting their fix for free, may I add, because you can unlock Thor after about an hour and a half of playing Fortnite in the game, Mjolnir hammer, everything. Within about an hour or so of playing Fortnite, I'm getting my fix there. Why do I suddenly then need to spend £60, £70, whatever it is to play this game? I don't understand why the timing on this is so appallingly bad. It's not something that we ever asked for. This we put it to bed. The Avengers went to bed last year, and it was a very, very nice sleep. For me, it was fun to play, but if we're looking at it from a narrative standpoint, it felt incredibly familiar. X-Men Days of Future Past. It didn't set my world on fire. It didn't feel like the comic books had anything more to offer than I got from the MCU, which was absolutely banging. I loved Kamala Khan. I thought she was awesome. I thought she was a really great protagonist. And it's great because she is us. And that's the fundamental part of this. You know, it's all well and good playing as superheroes, but when you can play as a hero who was us, Kamala Khan, then getting superpowers, that's something we all wish for. That'd be amazing. I wish I could get superpowers. That'd be great. She represents us in the game, and she was brilliant. So I love that. But the story, dude, I thought MODOK was a dreadful villain. I thought the major bosses were, apart from the exception of Abomination, were a woman in a giant like robot suit. I don't think that you can class a warbot as a main enemy. You want to fight against other super villains, ones that we know about. You know, if you're going to go all in, go all in. I'm going to give Marvel Avengers a C-. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you've enjoyed this first plot review. Make sure to assemble by subscribing to the channel. Make sure to like it as well if you did. And let me know in the comments below what games you'd love to see on plot review in future. That'd be awesome. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Until next time, take care. I'll see you then.